The truth comfort doesn't want you to hear. Let's be honest. Right from the start, you are surrounded by noise. Noise you didn't choose, noise you don't control, but it clings to your skin like a curse. Subtle, silent, constant. They told you to follow the rules, to stay within the lines, to be polite, be smart, be normal, and you'd be happy, but you know the truth. In the dead of night, when insomnia strips you of distraction, you feel it. That promise was empty. The comfort they sold you, it wasn't peace. It was a cage without bars, a lullaby that numbed your spirit while convincing you that you were safe. But safety isn't freedom. Safety is the price you pay for betraying your own authenticity. And that price is far higher than anyone dares to admit. Friedrich Nietzsche said, "You must have chaos within you to give birth to a dancing star." Chaos, pain, solitude, these are not your enemies. They are your only honest allies if you choose the brutal path of being real. Because hear this, the world is not ready for a mind that thinks for itself. The herd fears the black sheep, not because she's dangerous, but because she is a reminder. A living reminder that another path always existed. They taught you to fear suffering, but suffering is not a punishment. It's the blade that carves you into someone unstoppable. Every failure, every heartbreak, every moment of despair was not there to break you. It was there to forge you. They told you that if you just behaved, if you stayed quiet, if you didn't question, if you didn't dream too loud, you'd be okay. You'd be safe, respected, accepted. They said comfort was the goal, stability, routine, a peaceful life. But what they didn't say is that comfort kills, not with violence, but with silence. It numbs you, softens your edges, erodes your hunger until all that remains is a version of you that's easy to manage. That's what they want. Not your fire, but your obedience. Not your truth, but your compliance. And here's the worst part. They convinced you that you chose this, that your life, with all its invisible chains, was somehow your decision. But you didn't choose it. You were trained into it, conditioned to sit still, to be polite, to smile through dissatisfaction and call it adulthood. And now you wear your suffering in silence because everyone else is doing the same. You pretend this is what life is, what it's supposed to be. But deep inside, some part of you is screaming at the emptiness you've tried so hard to decorate, because deep down, you know the truth. Comfort is not peace. It's a slow surrender, a death by routine, a betrayal of everything that once made you wild, the job that drains your soul, the relationships built on autopilot, the weekends you don't even remember. This is not life. This is a coma with Wi-Fi, and still you stay. Because it's easier, because it's what you were told to do. Because breaking free means facing something terrifying, responsibility, radical freedom, the burden of choice. But let me say it clearly, security is not freedom. It's what they offer you when they want your silence more than your awakening. You think you're safe, but you're just predictable. You think you're successful, but you're just surviving. And the longer you stay in this illusion, the more your real self begins to rot. You can feel it, can't you? That fire you used to carry, now flickering behind a screen of excuses. That voice that used to scream, "This isn't me," now barely a whisper. But it's still there, buried under layers of approval, routine, and fear. It's not too late to listen, not too late to remember. The greatest tragedy isn't dying poor, unknown, or misunderstood. It's dying untrue to yourself. So ask yourself, with brutal honesty, what have you called comfort that was really just fear in disguise? Because sometimes the comfort you cling to is just the grave you dig for the person you were meant to become. They told you to avoid the chaos, to play it safe, to fear the fall, to run from pain like it was the enemy. But pain isn't the enemy, it's the invitation. Chaos doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to reveal you. Because you don't meet your true self in moments of ease. You meet it in the silence after a heartbreak, in the scream that echoes inside your own skull, in the moment no one's watching, and you still choose not to break. This is where your real power begins. Suffering is not a punishment, it's the chisel, the blade that carves away everything fake, everything borrowed, everything you thought you had to be. It strips you bare so that something real can rise in your place. But most people run. The moment life gets heavy, they reach for distractions, a screen, a drink, a lie, because facing chaos is brutal. It demands you stop pretending. It demands that you bleed. And that's why most people stay mediocre. Not because they're weak, but because they avoid the very thing that would make them unbreakable. You want to be strong. Stop chasing motivation. Start embracing resistance. Strength is not built when things go well. It's built when everything collapses and you stand up anyway. Alone, invisible, and undefeated. That's how you become sovereign. Not by being admired, but by walking through hell without applause and coming out with your mind intact. You think you need witnesses? You don't. The real transformation happens in the dark, in silence, when no one believes in you, when even you don't believe in you. But still, you rise. And when you do, you become a threat. Because a person who has faced their own chaos is not easily manipulated, not easily controlled, not easily broken. They'll call you arrogant, reckless, too intense. But what they really mean is, you remind me of the freedom I gave up. So they'll try to pull you back, disguising fear as advice, telling you to be realistic, to stay grounded, to stop being difficult. But their comfort is not your path. Their fear is not your destiny. Let them stay in the safety of their cages. You were built for storms. You don't need easy. You need truth. You need chaos. Because chaos is not where you die. It's where you awaken. So the next time you feel it, the shaking, the breaking, the unraveling, don't run. Stand in the fire. Let it burn what needs to die. And from those ashes you will rise with something they can't fake, can't teach, can't steal. Depth, clarity, power. You'll feel it. The moment you stop pretending, the moment you stop chasing approval and start walking your own path. Silence, distance, isolation. Because the price of authenticity is that you will no longer belong to places you used to shrink to fit. When you become real, you stop being relatable, and the crowd will sense it. They'll say you've changed, and they'll be right. Because truth always separates, not because you're better, but because you're finally yourself. And here's the truth they won't tell you. The deeper you think, the fewer people will understand you. The more honest you become, the more your presence feels like a mirror. And mirrors make people uncomfortable. You'll become a disruption. Not because you attack, but because your existence exposes what others are avoiding. They'll try to soften you, tame you, convince you to return to the herd. They'll dress it up as love, but it's fear. They're afraid of losing the version of you that made them feel safe. They'll say, don't make things harder than they are. Why complicate your life? Just let it go. It's not worth it. But what they mean is, stop reminding me that I settled. Stop challenging the lie I made peace with. Stop showing me what courage looks like. So listen closely, because this part is crucial. Their comfort is not your responsibility. Your mission is not to make them feel better about the choices they didn't have the guts to make. Your silence will disturb them. Your solitude will confuse them. Your refusal to explain yourself will feel like an offense. But you owe no one your conformity. You owe no one your smallness. Because the truth is, loneliness is not proof of failure. It is confirmation that you've departed the fake. Every soul who has built something real, something unshakable, has walked through loneliness like a desert, dry, endless, stripped bare. But that's where the foundation is laid, in the quiet, in the absence, in the moments where no one claps and you still keep going. Because solitude, when chosen, is not weakness, it's sovereignty, and those who fear it have never truly met themselves. So don't run from the silence. Don't beg to be understood. Don't explain yourself to those who only know how to echo. Instead, walk deeper, stand taller, let the loneliness do its work. Because the day will come when that loneliness turns into clarity, and that clarity will become your compass, and that compass will lead you to freedom no crowd could ever give you. And when that day comes, you won't crave their applause. You'll be too busy building something they'll never be brave enough to touch. The moment you start thinking for yourself, the moment you start walking away from what's expected, you become dangerous. Not because you're violent, not because you're loud, but because your existence alone exposes the lie that others are still living. And nothing terrifies the comfortable more than someone who doesn't need their permission. They won't say it out loud, but you'll feel it. Their jokes will start to sting. Their smiles will turn into questions. Their compliments will be replaced with subtle warnings disguised as concern. Don't isolate yourself. Be careful not to burn bridges. Why are you being so intense lately? What they're really saying is, come back. Be like us again. Stop reminding me that I settled. And when that doesn't work, they'll try to redefine you. You'll be called arrogant, selfish, cold, rebellious, because when your presence no longer fits their expectations, they'll attack your essence. But don't flinch. That's the price of authenticity. The world has systems, boxes, scripts, and when you step out of them, you break the illusion for everyone still inside. You show them that another life is possible. That obedience is a choice. That comfort is a cage. That mediocrity is not noble, just safe. And most people would rather hate you than admit they had the same choice and never took it. But that's not your problem. You didn't come here to be liked. You didn't come here to blend in. You came here to become whole. To build a mind that doesn't shatter at criticism, a spine that doesn't bend to expectation, a soul that doesn't beg for permission to exist. So let them talk, let them judge, let them gossip, criticize, misunderstand. Their noise is irrelevant, because every step you take toward your truth echoes like an earthquake in the fragile structures they built to feel safe. And yes, you'll feel the friction. It will be uncomfortable, exhausting. Some days, it will make you question everything. But don't mistake discomfort for error. Discomfort is a compass. It points to your evolution. And if your truth makes the herd uncomfortable, that's how you know it's working. So hold the line, walk the path. Let your presence disrupt the room the way lightning disrupts the sky, because you were not born to whisper. You were born to become a silent storm that wakes the sleeping and terrifies the systems that depend on silence. You don't need a stage. You don't need applause. You don't need an audience to become powerful. The most solid foundations are built underground. The deepest roots are hidden beneath the surface, and the strongest minds are forged in silence. We live in a world addicted to visibility. Everyone wants to be seen, to be liked, to be validated. But the truth is this: everything real begins in the dark, when no one's clapping, when no one's watching, when you have nothing to prove, just something to become. That's where the work gets done. That's where the walls go up. That's where your discipline is carved. Not in the spotlight, but in the shadows. Do you really want to grow? Then stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for someone to notice. Stop asking for permission. Show up anyway, on the boring days, on the heavy days, on the days when nothing makes sense and everything inside you screams, quit. Because those are the days that matter most. Those are the bricks. No one will celebrate you for staying disciplined when you could have drifted. No one will cheer when you choose solitude over shallow company. No one will applaud when you refuse to compromise your values. But that's the point. You're not building this for them. You're building this so that when life collapses around you, you still stand. Let others chase attention. Let them build castles on sand. You build quietly. You build deep. You build strong. And when the storms come, and they will, what you've built won't shake. Understand this: success that needs to be seen to exist was never real to begin with. Validation is a drug, approval is a leash, and visibility is a trap if your soul isn't anchored first. So disappear if you must, go dark if you need to, train in silence, create in silence, grow in silence. Because when it's time, when it's truly time, you won't have to announce anything. Your presence will say it all. Everyone says they want to be free. Everyone claims to value authenticity, but almost no one is willing to pay the price. Because here's the part they never post about: being real will cost you everything that was built on a lie. It will cost you relationships that only survived because you kept pretending. It will cost you careers that depended on your silence. It will cost you comfort because nothing about growth is cozy. Authenticity is not a glow-up, it's a burn-down. You will lose people. You will lose approval. You will lose your reputation in rooms that never deserved your presence in the first place. And that's okay, because what you'll gain is something they can't offer you: yourself. You'll walk differently, not because you're arrogant, but because you're no longer apologizing for existing. You'll speak with more silence, not because you're unsure, but because you've stopped explaining your truth to those who are committed to misunderstanding it. But don't get it twisted. This path is not romantic, it's brutal, it's lonely. It's filled with moments where even you will question your sanity. You'll ask, is it worth it? Am I just being difficult? Why does it hurt this much? And the answer is simple: because you're tearing out pieces of yourself that never belonged. You're no longer wearing the costume. You're no longer playing the role. You're no longer nodding along just to keep the peace. You're not here to be liked. You're here to live fully, to feel the fire of your own breath, to walk with the weight of your own soul. And yes, people will leave. Let them. Their absence is not a loss. It's space for something real. Space for those who recognize the version of you that doesn't need shrinking to be accepted. But be warned, the world doesn't reward authenticity. It punishes it at first. Because an authentic soul is a mirror, and most people are afraid of what they'll see. But stay the course. Hold your ground. Let them be uncomfortable, because you are not here to keep the world comfortable. You are here to become someone who cannot be bought, bent, or broken. And in that becoming, you will discover something terrifying and beautiful: that the most dangerous thing you can be is free. Your greatest enemy is not out there. It's not the critic, it's not the doubters, it's not even the ones who left you behind. It's the part of you that still wants to stay safe. The version of you that would rather be numb than awake, liked than honest, comfortable than free. That voice in your head that whispers, "You've done enough. You don't need to push today. Take the easier path. Why bother?" That voice is not lazy. It's not weak. It's afraid. Afraid of the cost. Afraid of the silence, afraid of what you might become if you stopped compromising. And you can't just silence it. You have to confront it daily, relentlessly. Because mediocrity doesn't show up like a monster. It shows up like a negotiator. It's polite. It sounds reasonable. It offers you just enough comfort to stop moving, just enough validation to stop growing. But every time you say yes to it, you betray something sacred inside you. Every time you choose what's easy over what's necessary, you are feeding the part of yourself that wants to stay small. And here's the truth. Every time you play beneath your potential, you lie to yourself. And no lie is more dangerous than the one you repeat in your own mind, because it becomes your reality, it becomes your identity, and eventually it becomes your legacy. Do not let your inner coward run your life. Do not negotiate with the part of you that would rather blend in than break through. If you want to become unshakable, you must go to war with your inner mediocrity. And that war isn't glamorous. It's made of early mornings when no one is watching, of saying no to comfort when no one would blame you for saying yes, of holding your standard even when the world around you has none. Most people aren't losing to the world. They're losing to themselves, to their excuses, to their fear of discomfort, to their refusal to look in the mirror and say, I can do more, I will do more, I must become more. This is the battle, and it never ends. Because mediocrity will always wait for you. It will dress itself in nostalgia, in past versions of you that were easier to live with, in comfort that feels like peace, but is actually a slow death. So burn the script. Tear down the pedestal you put your past self on. Don't romanticize who you used to be. Outgrow them. Let your evolution offend who you once were. Let your growth betray your comfort. Let your strength become a revolution against the version of you that settled. Because that war inside, that quiet daily war, is what will decide everything. There's a kind of pain that breaks you, and there's a kind of pain that builds you. Most people never learn the difference. They run from all of it. They numb, they distract, they pretend. But if you want to become something real, if you want to step into a self that's worth carrying, you have to pass through the fire. Becoming costs, not just effort, not just time, but identity, certainty, comfort, familiarity. You will lose versions of yourself that felt like home. You will burn beliefs that once kept you sane. You will bury pieces of your past that you never thought you could live without. And it will hurt. God, it will hurt. But this is the sacred pain. This is the soul's work. Transformation is not a glow. It's a grief. It's mourning the lies you told yourself to survive. It's weeping for the masks you wore for too long. It's watching the walls you built to feel safe crumble at your feet and still choosing not to run. This is not romantic. It's not beautiful. It's not shareable. It's raw. It's quiet. It's brutal. But in that pain, beneath the ashes, something extraordinary begins to breathe. A strength that no one gave you, a clarity that no one taught you, a truth that no one can steal from you, because now you've suffered for it, and anything you suffer for, you own. You no longer need to prove anything. Your pain already did. It carved something into you that the world cannot manufacture: depth, authority, sovereignty. So stop chasing the life that doesn't require pain. It doesn't exist. What exists is the choice to let your pain mean something, to turn it into a foundation, to make it a teacher, to hold it in your chest like a scar that whispers, I walked through fire, and I did not come back empty-handed. Because in the end, the pain will fade, the fire will settle, the noise will quiet, and you will be left with one thing that no one